In 1922, the opening of Tutankhamun's tomb marked a significant moment in history. The tomb, which had remained intact for 3,000 years, was filled with gold and artifacts. However, the event was overshadowed by the mysterious deaths of at least 13 people present at the tomb's opening, leading to the spread of rumors about the curse of the pharaohs. Researchers who studied the tomb and the mummy noticed many anomalies, including the belief among ancient Egyptians that a pharaoh, after death, would communicate with the gods on behalf of his people. This belief led to the meticulous care in mummification and the elaborate decoration of tombs. But why was there an exception for Tutankhamun? Why were Osiris' fingers cut off, and why does Tutankhamun's mummy continue to baffle historians? These questions continue to puzzle researchers. When archaeologist Howard Carter and his companion Lord George Carnarvon entered the tomb in 1922, they were astonished. Instead of a grand, spacious chamber, they found themselves in a small, cramped room resembling a warehouse. The location of the tomb also raised questions since Tutankhamun was buried far from his royal ancestors, which, according to ancient Egyptian beliefs, would prevent him from reuniting with his family in the spiritual world. It appeared that Tutankhamun received second-hand burial attributes, including a nest of 3 golden coffins that looked like the god of the dead, Osiris. However, the middle coffin differed in style, and its face did not resemble the others. Egyptologists speculated that this middle coffin, along with some of Tutankhamun's grave goods, was initially made for the mysterious Neferneferuaten, an enigmatic ruler whose name appears in inscriptions. Archaeologists later discovered that Tutankhamun was buried hastily, with signs of readjustment everywhere, indicating that the tomb was intended for another dignitary. The cause of Tutankhamun's death remains a subject of speculation. As the child of 2 siblings, he inherited genetic defects, including congenital clubfoot, and was plagued with a weakened immune system and malaria. Despite his ailments, the young king enjoyed riding chariots, which may have contributed to the broken leg found on his mummy. Strangely, his heart was missing, an unusual occurrence since Egyptians believed the heart was the center of a person's mind. The poor quality of Tutankhamun's mummy, with a large incision from the hip to the belly button, suggests a hasty mummification process. Some theorize that the young pharaoh, weakened by illness, fell from a chariot, and his body was hastily prepared for burial as it decomposed rapidly under the Egyptian sun. His tomb was not ready, so he was placed in a cramped space, with rituals abandoned, and the heart spot filled with scarab beetle amulets. 3,000 years later, archaeologists uncovered the mummy, and in the process, accidentally dislodged a skull fragment. But the list of strange occurrences did not end there. Egyptologist Chris Naunton and a team of forensic scientists conducted a virtual autopsy on Tutankhamun for a documentary and discovered that his mummy had been burned. However, it was unlikely that anyone deliberately set fire to the king's body. Instead, a chemical reaction of the embalming oils used on Tutankhamun's mummy led to spontaneous combustion, a rare occurrence in ancient Egyptian burial practices. The documentary also revealed that the mummy had to be scraped off the walls of the coffin during the tomb's opening, further emphasizing the hasty and careless embalming process. As for the deaths of those involved in the tomb's opening, many believed in the curse of the pharaohs. Notable figures like archaeologist Arthur Mace, radiologist Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, and Carnarvon's brother Audrey Herbert all died within a few years after the tomb's discovery. Lord Carnarvon, who was the first to see the tomb with Carter, also died, but the curse's adherents failed to consider that the average age of the deceased scientists was 74.5 years. George Carnarvon, 57 years old, died of pneumonia and had a history of pulmonary disease. Howard Carter, the primary discoverer, lived another 16 years and died of natural causes at 64. Egyptologists have pointed out that the concept of a curse was not part of Egyptian religious practice, and many involved in other tomb openings did not experience any mystical influence. Despite the lack of evidence for a curse, the story of Tutankhamun continues to captivate the world. The mystery surrounding his death, the strange occurrences during his burial, and the subsequent deaths of those involved in the tomb's discovery leave room for both superstition and scientific explanation. In the end, Tutankhamun's story is one of both curse and accident, with newly available data only adding to the confusion. This young pharaoh's tale is filled with more adventures than one might expect, making it almost comical that there is no comedy movie featuring him as the main character. What would a comedy about Tutankhamun be called? Perhaps that's a mystery yet to be solved.